mọi người, ngày hôm nay thì Linh có một cuộc trò chuyện rất là thú vị mà Linh tin là tất cả chúng ta nếu mà chúng ta quan tâm tới cái sự an toàn của con em chúng ta thì chúng ta nên lắng nghe, bởi vì nó rất là cần thiết trong cuộc sống. Đó chính là một cái kỹ năng để tồn tại, đó chính là kỹ năng bơi. Thế thì lý do vì sao ngày hôm nay Linh nói về chủ đề này, bởi vì chúng ta ở đây có hai vị khách mời là những người bạn của anh Thắng từ thời ở trường đại học Indiana University. Thì đây là hai người bạn là dành cả cuộc đời của họ để làm những cái công việc từ thiện, đúng không anh? Là để làm sao cho mọi người có cái hiểu rõ hơn về cái việc làm sao chúng ta cần phải biết bơi để có thể tồn tại được. Và họ cũng biết rằng ở Việt Nam của chúng ta thì cái việc các trẻ em đang bị chết đuối với một con số khá là lớn, và đấy là lý do mà họ đã chọn đến Việt Nam để giúp đỡ chúng ta. Thế thì bây giờ chúng ta hãy cùng trò chuyện với hai vị khách mời của Linh ngày hôm nay, có được không ạ? So, I'm going to introduce you. Đầu tiên thì Linh xin được giới thiệu, đây là chị Beth Cridle và đây là anh Kevin Espirito. Xin phép là phải nhìn vào như thế bởi vì là biết tên đầu nhưng mà họ thì cũng phải ngó một chút. So, thank you very much for coming today and talk with us. Can you introduce a little bit about yourself, your background, and why you chose to be in this field of work?
Sure.
Sure. So Kevin Espirito, and I am on the board of directors for an organization that has worked in Vietnam for a long time, 20 years. And that was my introduction to Vietnam. But I worked in Microsoft for 17 years. And before that was an aquatics director, meaning manage pools and help teach kids to swim. And
So my name is Beth Cridle. Thank you so much, both of you, for having us here today and inviting us to join the conversation. So my background is in mental health counseling, and I worked in higher education for 13 years. And then I met Kevin and came over to Vietnam to do some drowning prevention work. And now we are looking also at the possibility of supporting the development of the mental health field here in Vietnam, in addition to continuing with our drowning prevention work.
And so, why did you choose Vietnam to do your drowning prevention work? Besides, because you're on board
Yes.
one of the company who's been here for a long time.
yes, a partner of that organization was asked to help out with drowning prevention because it is very prevalent here in Vietnam. And Vietnam is actually the third highest country when it comes to drowning rates. And so when we heard this information, with my background before Microsoft, we thought we could help make a difference. But we also wanted to leave our jobs, get married, and move to Vietnam for the first year of our marriage, to live differently in a different context, in a different culture, and not necessarily to help, but to see what it brings up in us and what we could learn.
And how far, what triggered you to move from a lifestyle that I know many people in the US choose to have, to do something completely social work?
Yeah, so actually I can answer that. At Seattle University, where I was working, they provided, they called them immersion trips for faculty and staff, where you go on trips to low and middle income countries and just learn and visit and learn about their policy, their culture, the people. And so I went to Nicaragua, and it was the first time that I was exposed to what I would call extreme poverty. And it really, I have to be honest, it totally messed me up in the head. I thought I cannot go back to my normal life and my normal job and pretend like I've never seen this before. I want to have some kind of response. Of course, I can't change that there, but I just want to do something different. So I started talking with Kevin, who was loving his job at Microsoft, and we both had great jobs that we enjoyed. And that's when we started saying, what if we just go live somewhere else, just to see how we are transformed, not necessarily because we want to go change or fix something else. But then it just so happened we were invited to participate in drowning prevention in Vietnam, as he explained, which was a beautiful experience, and we're still learning and growing right alongside the projects happening here in Vietnam.
So what do you what you are looking to achieve while you're here in Vietnam. I know this is the short trip. You're coming this time. What is your goals and purpose for this time, and what do you expect to be able to achieve in the long run?
Yes, so after spending 2 years in Quang Binh and living in Dong Hoi, we fell in love with Vietnam, with the people, with the culture, and so we decided when we just moved back to the United States that we will stay connected with Vietnam for the rest of our lives. And we decided to start a new nonprofit, a new NGO. And we want to continue to focus on drowning prevention, and also explore mental health and the emerging help of counseling and talk therapy. So on this trip, we are exploring possibilities. So really listening, and we call it a listening tour. So we meet with many people and listen to find out what is happening, what can need some help, and how we might be able to bring expertise from around the world to help and connect with the experts here locally.
Yes.
If I can add to that as well, I think one of the things when we're exploring mental health is we're seeing there's need for support at all levels. At the national level, we have no professional code yet for counseling and psychology. So we need to advocate for that, for health coverage, also for the provision of services and capacity building at all levels. So right now we are hoping to be able to find and clarify our partners and projects to really be able to hopefully not only make an impact here, but also in my vision, my ideal world, we would develop together some new theories and some new therapies that are really based in Vietnamese culture, not just taking Western ideas and Western approaches and dropping them in Vietnam, but actually we need to learn.
We need to adapt to the local as well.
Which would actually then help us a lot in the US also, because we have a very diverse population of citizens. So I think it's very exciting with a lot of possibilities, and we definitely intend to be here for the long term. So I think it will take a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm very excited with what you are doing right now, because as you said, we are the third country with the highest rate of drowning. I also have many famous friends who have, I'm not too sure if they have organizations like formally, but they also organize to help children to learn how to swim more. And I think that would be great to connect all of us together because we share the same cause, and also mental health. I think it's really interesting because not too many people pay attention to that now, but I can see that it's a prevalent problem, but it's lying underneath that. It's not too obvious, and people don't really talk about it here. It's still like a stigma to when we talk about mental health. People would assume that you have some kind of mental problem, but like you're crazy. I think it used to be that way overseas, but now maybe in the US people are more open to it and look after it. So yeah, I'm excited about what you're doing. So what are you looking for here now? That maybe to help you progress faster, to reach your goal faster, in get your NGO up and running.
Yeah. So if I can start, so as far as drowning prevention, there's a very exciting emergence of the timing to be working in this area. As we talked about, it's a very urgent need. We estimate there's around 20 people per day that die from drowning in Vietnam, and about half of them are kids. So it is a very urgent need, and what we have seen is that Bloomberg Philanthropies is actually coming to Vietnam, has chosen Vietnam as one of the countries of focus, and they're going to be investing over a 5-year period to do 2 main interventions. One of them is to build daycare centers for younger children, and then for primary age students to teach them how to swim. So actually our previous experience in Quang Binh really relates quite nicely to the timing of this, and what we're hoping to do and sort of looking for, to answer your question, is to see where there are opportunities to support the work that's happening at a larger level. So at the moment we have been working to coordinate what we call the INGO Collaborative,
Yes.
to bring together all the other smaller international organizations working on this issue. And we're together advising the national government on building a curriculum that meets international standards to help really implement swimming lessons hopefully throughout the entire country over time. So that's one of the pieces on the drowning prevention side that we're working on. We also have a research project with Indiana University that we hope can actually potentially transform the way we do drowning prevention around the world. It's looking at how does a 1-hour classroom-based training where we teach kids, we give them basic messages about how to be safe around the water and also how to rescue their friends if they fall in without endangering their own lives. Because I don't know if you're aware of this, but a lot of kids actually end up dying together. So that's something else that we're working on. And then on the mental health side, what we hope to find here are local partners who are already doing really good work. We don't necessarily want to go and reinvent the wheel. In fact, this afternoon we're meeting with an INGO who's already working out in the provinces, and we're going to hopefully take them to Quang Binh and see if we might expand and start a project there. Since we've been in that community and we just love our friends, it's like our second family, second home there. So.
And I would add on, if you have friends or if there are companies or anyone that wants to do work in either of these areas and want to connect, on the drowning prevention side, we can be a technical advisor and help them to make sure that it's done in a safe way and that children are safe in the water and that they do have standards of teaching and it's doing more good than harm.
And on the mental health side, we are really trying to deeply learn about the culture in Vietnam related to what you were saying before. How do we see ourselves as reaching our full potential? So mental health is not about having mental illnesses necessarily. It's actually about how to become our best self, how to flourish, how to thrive. And so I'd love to have help on how can we integrate that kind of thinking about mental health in Vietnam? It's not just about schizophrenia and epilepsy. It's actually something very, very wonderful developmentally for everyone.
Yes.
It's something for everyone, not just folks who are severely mentally ill.
So that is when we're talking about the collaboration with organizations or companies that are interested in this area. I think that people would note of that when they watch, and if they know anyone can connect with us. What about the public? What do you think they can do to maybe like support or maybe learn from all of you?
I think the way that we see drowning happening in Vietnam, there's a large number of children that are drowning, and that is children from the ages of 0 to 4. And that is a direct consequence of lack of supervision. So sometimes, and we all know that there is water everywhere, but even in the city, in a small bathtub or bucket of water, children can drown. So it's not just in the lakes and the streams and the ponds, but it really is everywhere. So supervision at the young ages is the most important intervention. In school age, it is teaching them to swim. That is the best intervention that you can have with children of school age and primary age, is teaching them to swim.
And I think actually if the public in general could think about learning to swim as a life skill, that in fact they should also learn how to swim, even just basic survival skills, how to float, how to tread water, how to do a basic survival stroke.
That sounds like me. I need to learn.
Yes, and actually,
and it's fun. It's very fun.
And he almost drowned me a few times.
Oh goodness! And actually, to be honest, we learned that a lot of women, in particular, don't know how to swim. I mean, adult women. So we actually did a course where we taught adult Vietnamese women how to swim, and the idea was that they could also then teach the kids. You know, their kids, their nieces, their nephews. So I would say learning how to swim for everyone would be huge. And then the other thing is when you are in boats or lakes or even the sea, to use a life jacket. Because a lot of times we have seen, and we just know from water safety in general, you can go out on a boat in Vietnam and there's maybe no life jackets. So
Right.
if you did get into a situation, even if you know how to swim, you can still really benefit from having the life jacket to help you. So I think that's something else, just a sort of a basic.
Would you wear like the life jacket the whole time? I was imagining like in Ha Long Bay and then on the big ship and then we wear the life jacket the whole time, which is
Not necessarily on the large ships, but ensuring, especially with tourists or local people, that there are life jackets that are readily available and that can be grabbed in an instant.
Yes.
Because if they are all down below with the engine underneath something, when an accident happens, you don't have much time. So for the large ship, as long as they're readily available.
Yes.
On smaller ships,
Or
yes.
even
Yeah, you
smaller
should wear
boats.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're by yourself. That's one time where, like, if you, let's just say you think, oh, I'm fine, I'm just kind of paddling in the boat. But if something happened, there's no one there to give you the life jacket or do anything. So then you just have
And especially children.
Yes, yes. Yeah, thank you very much.
Can I add something? Yeah.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit more on, for example, you said about kids usually when they try to save, actually adults too, right?
Yeah.
When we try to save somebody, what should we do if we see somebody that is drowning?
Yeah. So one of the issues that we see not only in Vietnam but around the world is that kids especially will drown in pairs or multiples because one child may get in trouble and then another goes in to help. And they are not strong enough swimmers and they have not been trained to rescue. And when someone is in trouble, the only thing they care about is making sure their head is above water. They don't realize that they are drowning their friend. So when these things happen, we are trying in the classroom to explain that this is what happens in a drowning situation and that people should throw something or reach a long pole or stick, but not to go in after them if they are not trained or they cannot swim extremely well themselves, because it results in multiple drownings.
So for example, if there's a rope nearby or even a water bottle, something that floats,
Bamboo.
or a stick, you can lay on the ground and reach out like this, but you don't want to go in and immerse yourself into the water and then get pulled in. So you can really be creative and use anything you can find around you. It's not always easy, but we do actually have them practice that in the classroom training.
And for children, run and get help. Get adult help.
Yeah, it's actually very 50-50 because it has an issue with being brave or not, right?
Yeah.
The person will be on the edge and be yelling or maybe trying to get help. But the first reaction would be like, I want to be brave, I want to save my friend, I want to jump in, right? So what I think is, do you think it's more like mentally, right? It's more important mentally than skillful, right?
I actually think you're really hitting on a very important point.
Yes.
And that's something that we have to continue to learn about in the international community is what are the water safety messages adapted to the culture? So to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know the answer to that, but it would be good to really have a deeper understanding of like what are Vietnamese parents telling their children that might reinforce some messages about you shouldn't leave your friend, you should jump in there.
Yes.
Or you should leave it, we don't really know exactly how that works, but what we are trying to do with our research project is to look and see, based on this training, are the kids actually intending to change their behavior? So we give them these scenarios to say, if your friend has fallen into the water, what would you do? And we give them, so we can see if they're intending to change that behavior based on the training that we have given them. But I think we could do that better and better and better if we understand the culture more and more deeply. So.
And I think it's more brave to go get help than to jump in and die.
Right.
And I think that is what we're finding is, and it's not just Vietnam. Kids around the world, their first reaction is to jump in and to help. And unfortunately, the result is usually both die.
And just to mention one other thing, it's not necessarily that you're just walking along, your friend falls in the water and suddenly they're drowning. You may all be in the water, playing, having fun, and suddenly look over and see that your friend is not able to stay up. So it's not just don't jump in, it may be jump out and go get something to help the friend who's in trouble. Because it's very natural to go, well, I'm just going to swim over here and get this person. But then again, they
don't realize.
They pull you under. So that's where it's like, we really have to teach these important messages. To get out of the water and try to find something. Don't actually swim toward them. It almost doesn't seem like a logical thing in the moment when you're just wanting to save your friend. So anyway, it's not an easy.
Or wanting to save your wife.
Or you yeah, or you're simply.
But she will have a life jacket on, so no problem.
So is there any, I know there's a whole process of being trained how to save a person, right?
Yeah.
But to you as a specialist, what is the most important thing that when, for example, me, right? If I see somebody's drowning, what is the first thing I should do? If I got him out of the water already, and he's unconscious.
Learn CPR.
CPR, yes.
Yes, bystander rescue and CPR. In all of our classes for our program, we taught the physical education teachers, and they were the ones that taught the children to swim. And in all of our classes contain CPR. It's a skill not only for drowning, but also for road accidents or daily life. And I think more and more it's popular in every country, but I think here it's gaining in popularity, but we don't get that more training.
We don't get training in that a lot. Yeah.
And I think, calling for help or asking someone to call for help, and if anybody around knows CPR, but they need to know what they're doing, because you can actually also cause more problems if you start pumping someone's chest, or you don't know how to do it. It can actually be problematic. So
seeing videos of people standing and
so it's important to know what you're doing, I guess.
So the best bet would be get somebody who knows how to do it first, and not try, right? You have no.
It depends on the situation. Every situation is different. Yeah. So if you have training, you're trained to identify what is wrong and what you should do first. Drowning is a little bit different than a road accident, because they don't have any air in their lungs, and you should start with air. Road accident, we need to find out, is their heart still pumping, are they breathing, and then start the process.
So the main thing is maybe to get CPR training.
Yes.
As many people as possible get trained.
I think that is really important.
Yeah, I think if you want to go into detail, it will go on and on forever. I think today we're going to just do an introduction, because I think that my suggestion to you is in the process of working with organization. To me, yes, you can reach people who are in need and maybe do not have access to maybe the internet. But one of the ways that you can help the public is also to create an online presence in which you can create videos, forums, or groups to have people to participate in. Maybe if you cannot speak English or write in English, we will have people. You can have people to help you out, and then people can share and make it viral. It's very important. Or even when you have a big community and awareness from the public here in Vietnam, I think it will be easier for you to reach out, or even to have a voice in whatever you're saying. That is the first thing we can immediately do when for right now. To raise awareness and also to teach, and from being able to reach out to the public that way, you can even organize your own activities as you go from cities to cities and provinces, and you can gather a group of people who are interested in to learn, or they can help you to connect with the less fortunate people to do that.
We would love your professional advisement on that, because I think, for one thing, it's not it's difficult when you're starting out as a new organization, but also we don't really know how it works exactly in Vietnam in terms of how do you develop an online presence, or even use social media. So we would love your advice at any time about that.
I think that
as well.
Andy is always here to help you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
and I think that that to me is a good good video today, that we get to know both of you and what is your purpose. And I think the public is we are very appreciative of your help, because you're not Vietnamese, you come all the way here to help us, and we will try our best to, I mean, we as in not just me and Andy, I'm sure that many of my friends who are watching this, they would love to extend their hands to help your job to get easier. And I'm sure that the children will be interested in learning what you want to teach as well. And for mental health, I'm very sure that it is it's very hard right now, if we're not talking about like severe case of mental health. But I think for like women or even for men in the new generation, we have different work environments nowadays, and also the different kind of pressure. I think we can start by creating like a support community that I don't think Vietnam has right now, and with your expertise you can slowly build up your audience and people who need you, and maybe they don't have anyone to share with. Yeah,
that would be fantastic. And actually I am a licensed mental health counselor practicing in the US, and I do all of my work online. So online counseling is actually becoming more and more popular in the US. So that's one thing I want to explore in Vietnam, because I think it may help get around some of the barriers to the stigma or even the cost. So there are a lot of possibilities there to go along with what you were saying, to sort of formal and informal online strategies.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I hope that we can take this off the ground faster and sooner.
Can you talk about a little bit more about the numbers that you've been that you helped already, and you create an impact on the streaming?
So when we came over in 2015, we helped start the program Swim for Life in Quang Binh.
Yes.
And we knew that it was important for sustainability to not just train the children ourselves, but to bring in experts to train the physical education teachers. So in the 2 years that we lived in Quang Binh, we were able to train just over 50 physical education teachers, and almost half of those were at the international level, so licensed at the international level to train. Those 50 plus instructors then trained about 3,500, so 3,500 students in the 2 pools that we had in Quang Binh. Now that program is continuing, and they're looking at 4 open water sites to add to the 2 pools as well. So those numbers will continue to climb. And in addition to training children in the pool, we also had a program called the Water Safety Education Program in the classroom. And with the support and help of Department of Education and Training, we were able to reach every student in Quang Binh in the primary schools. So around 72,000 children went through that program. And now we continue that program each year, and are also tying that to a research project, which in turn will help the international community understand the best ways to reach children in water safety education.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So yeah, once again, thank you very much.
Yes.
Và hy vọng rằng những gì mà hai anh chị vừa chia sẻ sẽ cho chúng ta thêm một chút thông tin. Ngày hôm nay thì cũng chỉ là một buổi để chúng ta làm quen với nhau thôi. Nhưng mà như Linh cũng vừa chia sẻ thì các anh chị cũng sẽ tạo ra một cái môi trường ở online để làm sao tất cả chúng ta có thể tham gia và học hỏi từ các anh chị để giúp cho chính gia đình nhà mình là đầu tiên. Và nếu như có cơ hội để chúng ta giúp cho cộng đồng, Linh nghĩ rằng 2 cái chủ đề mà anh chị còn nhắc tới đó là làm sao phòng tránh cái việc bị chết đuối ở cả trẻ em lẫn người lớn, mà Việt Nam của chúng ta là đứng cao thứ 3 trên thế giới về tỷ lệ, và thêm nữa là sức khỏe về tinh thần. Đấy là cái mà Linh nghĩ đang rất cần thiết ở Việt Nam của chúng ta, đặc biệt cái chủ đề về sức khỏe tinh thần. Thì Linh cũng có chia sẻ với chị Beth là chị nên có một cái tổ chức hoặc là một cái nhóm trên mạng nào đó để giúp chia sẻ những kinh nghiệm, kiến thức, cũng như là giúp cho tất cả chúng ta có thể có một nơi để chúng ta học hỏi để làm sao có một cuộc sống nó có một chất lượng cao, không chỉ là về sức khỏe về cơ thể của mình mà còn cả về tinh thần nữa. Linh Thắng thì luôn luôn là những người đam mê làm sao mà giúp cho mọi người có một cái sức khỏe thật tốt. Và đôi khi chúng ta nghĩ sức khỏe chỉ là cái xét nghiệm máu, hay là việc chúng ta có tỷ lệ cơ bắp như thế nào, hay là chúng ta có ốm hay không. Nhưng mà cái việc về tinh thần là một cái việc mà rất quan trọng, mà khi mà chúng ta có một chuyên gia thì nó sẽ giúp cho công việc của chúng ta dễ dàng hơn rất nhiều. Và Linh rất là hy vọng trong tương lai thì mọi người sẽ ủng hộ cho hai anh chị, và Linh Thắng cũng sẽ chia sẻ những cái nhóm mà hai anh chị tổ chức để làm sao mọi người cùng tham gia, được không ạ? Vâng, và cảm ơn mọi người đã quan tâm theo dõi ngày hôm nay, và xin hẹn gặp lại tất cả mọi người trong một cái video sắp tới đây với các vị khách của chúng ta. Xin cảm ơn.
Yay, thank you so much. I know you have to run.